Hi, I'm just going to give you a rundown on a leading edge one shot. So here's our scenario. We have a limit switch going to be input 7. Right now it's normally open and it has not been activated. Inside our program we have limit switch here as an input 7 with this XIC. Then we have a XIO, which is activated by this output B10, and then we have an output B9. In this rung, we have input 7, the same limit switch, and it's going to control B10. So with the limit switch open, what we have here is a low, and that makes the examine if closed false. Next, we have a low, because this output is not activated, so it's sending a low to the XIO, which makes it true. Because we have one of these two that is false, that means B9 is false, and in the output registry, we would register a low for B9. On this next rung, because the limit switch is open, we have a low, makes this false, makes B10 false. So B10 in the register would go low as well. On the second scan, we've now closed the limit switch. So looking at what happens in our program, the XIC sees a high because input 7 is closed. That makes that true. B10 is still low, which makes this XIO true, and our B9 in the output register would go true. Now remember, in an in a synchronous program like this, nothing happens as far as real-time outputs until all of the scan has completed. So we won't see anything executed in scan 2 until we read this rung and all the following rungs. So let's just see what happens. So our switch is closed, so we see a high here, which makes this true, and our B10 would also be true, and we put a high in there to show our B10 is gone. Now we execute. After it runs through all and scans everything, it executes each one of the outputs. So it saw this go high, so B9 would go high as a real-time output, and then B10 would go high as a real-time output. So after the second scan, both 9 and 10 bits would be true in the field. Now the third scan is where it gets interesting. We're still leaving the limit switch closed, and so the input would be high, and that would go true. But now if you've noticed, in the last scan, B10 went true. So right here, we're getting a true coming back from that, which would go high, which would then make this be false, and would make our B9 go low. So over here in the output register, we end up with a low, and the limit switch is still closed, so this one is high, that's true, and B10 would stay high. So what happens here is that on this scan here, our B9 went high, but on the next scan, B9 went true. Now on this scan, the third scan, B9 goes false. And that's because in the interim, B10 had gone high, which turn this into false, turning this off. And that's why it's called a one shot, because it only stays on for one scan cycle. When we open this limit switch, it clears everything and we'll start over from the first scan. Hope that is helpful.